of 25th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Junior Hunter. I'm Officer Kasar Fakad, 500. This is Wednesday night law class. First off, I want to say Shalom, Yabashim Yashai Rakathum to all the Akim, and Shalom Shamal Thum Bashim Yashai to all the sisters, to all the Akwakim. All right, let's see. Go ahead and read what we're about, and we're going to get into class. In ISUPK, we are educating Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians about their true heritage, which is comprised of the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. Once our people begin to follow the laws in the Bible, God, or Yahweh in the Hebrew, will look down from heaven and have mercy on us. He will also send Christ to free us from our oppression. Using the Bible, the ISUPK will fix all the problems in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian communities, turning a lawless and immoral people into a righteous, law-abiding people. The true nationalities of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Indians, and so-called West Indians of North, Central, and South America are the true descendants of the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And Yahweh Shai Mashiach, or Jesus Christ in the English, is their king. All right, let's get it in. As I said before we start class, tonight's topic is going to be Black and Brown Unite or Die. Before we get into that, though, we had a question about the upcoming feast day. If brothers don't know, this week on Friday sundown, going into Saturday, is going to be the Feast of the First Fruits. So wherever you are located, come together with the brothers in the UPK, and we will feast together and enjoy the day of the Lord. So let's see. You can start off in Leviticus chapter 23, the first verse. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharallah, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts." So it starts to break it down. These are holy convocations. The Sabbath is a holy convocation. Is when brothers come together. All right, it's a separate convocation. We are separate from the world. These are the things that Israel is supposed to do. Not all the other nations need to partake in this or will partake in this because it wasn't given to them. So it breaks down the Sabbath. I think it goes into Passover. Verse 5, "And the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh." So after Passover, that's when the Feast of Unleavened Bread begins. And for 7 days, you're not supposed to have any yeast or leavened bread in your house. And you're only supposed to eat unleavened bread for 7 days. All right, let's see. And here it goes, verse 10. "Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto your priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before Yahweh to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it." And it starts breaking down what should be offered. And so lock it. Let's see. So basically, it's just a coming together, basically like it's celebrating the first fruits. As we know, in the Christian world, in the Roman world, under their calendar, the first of the year is January 1st. Coming into the true springtime, the first of the year doesn't start until springtime, around the time of the Passover. That's when the new year comes in. So, and it's in time with the growing season as things go. So when you have new things coming out right now in the springtime, you see fruit coming on the trees. You see the apples and the oranges and the pears and peaches, everything is sprouting out. And so you're coming and giving you're paying respect to the Lord for blessing you with that this year, this new year, what you're getting blessed with, and you bringing it to the priest. All right. And so there's a difference between a high holy day and a feast day. This is a feast day. It's not a high holy day. The high holy days are, how can I say it? High holy day, the Sabbath, the Passover, those are commandments from the Lord. The feast days are something that, so like, I don't want to get a wrong breakdown. If you know about Hanukkah, Hanukkah was celebrating the rededication of the temple. That wasn't actually in the law, statutes, and commandments. That was something that was added on, and it's a memorial day for us, so to speak. In the same way as you would say the Feast of Purim. That was something when the sister was in captivity and she went against the heathen and she told him to save the Israelites that were in captivity because they were trying to slaughter them. That was not here in the law, statutes, and commandments. But Salaki, I don't want to give a wrong breakdown and say this is not a high holy day because it is in the law, statutes, and commandments. So Salaki, for that, I'm gonna go get a check and get a breakdown on that. If anybody on the phone knows, go ahead and speak on that. Tazabad, are you aware? Is brother still online? Can you brother hear me?
Not on count.
Okay. So like I didn't know. All right. So if that's a little bit I can give you, Ajazah, if you need some more, I can double check in with Officer Karak and come back to you. Go ahead.
Hey, are you on YouTube live right now?
I should be. I'm gonna go double check on my phone. Let me see.
I'm trying to find you right now on the tube.
Let me see. It should be live on ISUPK Oakland. It says it on my phone. Talking about YouTube or Facebook?
No, YouTube.
Okay.
I can get it on my TV. I'm trying to see if I can get it on TV.
Okay. All right. So does any brother have any other questions before we get into the class tonight? Can anyone read for me? If not, as Tawab, I can go ahead and then just go ahead and read. All right. Tonight's topic is Black and Brown Unite or Die. That is a very serious statement. And as we always say, the little things that we say in the truth, they go a long way. We say unite or die, Black and brown, unite or die. The first thing that comes to mind is saying Black people, Hispanic people need to unite or die. But it's also Black and brown, unite or die. Black people need to unite with Black people or die. Brown people need to unite with brown people or die. Black and brown people united together need to come together, unite or die. So the same thing as I'm telling the young man, the best preparation that you can have with dealing with the people in the world that hate us is to come as one body, is to be united as one. There's only so much you can do in the world by yourself. Even the oppressor knows this. Matter of fact, especially the oppressor knows this. This has been one of their key tactics to dominating Black and Hispanic people, is their unification amongst themselves. That's what makes them strong. We all have heard the old proverb that says, if you have one stick, you can break it with your hands. If you put 5, 6, 10 sticks together, that same man cannot break those sticks. You can break them all individually, but when they come together, they're stronger. That is something that brothers need to know coming into the truth. That's why we say this. There is no other one that is bringing the truth other than ISUPK under command of General Hunter. Because we teach the true truth of this Bible, that there is only one body, one baptism, one faith. All right? And so I had, let's see, the first scripture I'm going to bring out is Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If we do not unite and come together, we're going to die. We're going to keep getting the same situation with Brother Floyd, with George Floyd, with the Issachar brother here in Hayward, California, Gato, with the countless names that have been put on lists that have been destroyed by our enemies, not only by our enemies and by our own people as well. And the reason why is because everyone is separated. Everyone's in their own ideology. Everyone's doing things for themselves. They're looking out for themselves and expect the Lord to take care of you. How do you expect the Lord to take care of you by yourself when the Lord's eye is on Israel? If you're not doing the work to make sure another brother's straight, well, what does that do for the Lord? Being selfish? You want the Lord to protect you being selfish? You got to be willing to sacrifice. How can you be a follower of Christ who is willing to sacrifice everything, but you want to be a selfish bastard and not sacrifice anything for your people? So my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. This is the Israelite school of universal and practical knowledge. We're here to teach this knowledge that will fix our people. This is why we are a school. This is why we have classes 6, 7 days a week, to give our people the knowledge and the tools to solve their problems. And the knowledge of the law, statutes, and commandments is the most important thing. All right? Let's see. It says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of the Most High, I will also forget thy children. One of the most important laws, Christ said it himself, is to one, love the Lord your God with all your might, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. You got to take care of the Lord's chosen people as well. You got to put this work in, all right? So I'm going to go to another precept. This wasn't on the list tonight, but when I'm talking about black and Hispanics coming together, this comes to mind. Obviously, Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. It's also another bedrock UPK scripture. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. The Lord is telling our people to come together. The same statement I said, black and brown, unite or die. This is the solution to our problem, being in one body, all right? Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. We see how they treat our Hispanic brothers at the border. We see how they treat our Native Indian brothers on these reservations. We see how they treat the Caribbean brothers, Haitians, trying to come to America. They get shipped and turned right back around. Coming in on little banana boats. Donald Trump giving the so-called Puerto Ricans paper towels when they're in the middle of a hurricane or a flood or earthquake. All right? Verse 2, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahweh come upon you, before the day of Yahweh's anger come upon you. Why is the Lord's anger going to come upon you? Because you're not gathering together, because you're not bringing the children of Israel into one body. All right. So next, the reason why I chose this topic tonight is because recently in the news, there's been a few instances of so-called Judite, or not Slacky, Judite men or so-called Black Americans into it with so-called Mexican Americans. There was one instance in LA where there were some young Black brothers that hit the elote lady and they robbed her, and then they also hit and slapped another corn man, Issacharite brother. And I don't know if they took anything from him, but they're filming it on Instagram, going live and making jokes and acting like it's something funny. When we know our strong Issacharite brothers in Southern California, they're not playing with that. They're ready to ride for their community. All right. And so just as things have been getting calmed down in the penitentiaries, brothers have been calling truce with Issacharite brothers. Brothers have been calling truces with Bloods and the Crips, along with truces among the Issacharites as well. The Norteños and Sureños here in California have been trying to have peace. And when things like that happen, it can spread into the penitentiaries, cause wars, cause riots, and then that goes back onto the streets, which causes more gang warfare and more death and bloodshed in our Black and brown communities. And so there was a lot of movement going around surrounding that to stop that. Even before that, there was Los Treses, Tazaba? I know Gabor knows about it. The 13th Street, yeah, Valencia. I think it's Valencia. 13th Street, Florencia, Florencia. 13th Street, going at it with certain Crip sets in LA, and they were resolving those beefs. And then now, this past week in Chicago, the Latin Kings were quote unquote protecting their neighborhood from getting looted during these protests and these riots. And so they were basically treating anyone that was Black or Judite as a threat. And they were giving them, I guess, a green light on site if they come through their neighborhood to throw rocks at them, to pull them out the car, to jump them. I heard a pregnant sister was pulled out of her car and jumped. All right. And this fell off into some shootings as well. And so now today I saw them come out, and there were some Judite brothers and some Issacharite brothers talking about this, and they're saying it wasn't about race, it was more about them looting their neighborhood when they're not looting their own neighborhood. And so things seem to have been resolved as of now, but you know how the streets are. There is no honor among thieves. We can always see at the drop of a dime, things can spark up and a war can get started again. But that's exactly what the Lord hates to see. He wants to see Black and Hispanic brothers dwelling together in unity, like you see in the ISUPK. Not destroying each other, not treating each other like the enemies. That's been the biggest trick that Esau has done against our people, is to teach us that we are different people. And we want to have separate identities, even though we come from the exact same situations. All right. Does anybody have any comments? Or does anybody heard about what's going on? Can anybody break down what they've seen about the GDs and the Latin Kings in Chicago this week?
I've seen it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I seen the thing with the Latin Kings and, you know, the brothers going over there shooting and stuff. But I've seen another thing that kind of stuck in my head, and that was a protest, right?
Right.
Where a pig had got separated from, you know what I'm saying, from his officers or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
and the people were chasing him down, throwing rocks and sticks at him. You know what I'm saying? He was done. You feel me? But you know, the first thing that happened was some brother came out and put himself in front of all the rocks and shit that the people were throwing at him to say the cops. You know what I'm saying? He's ready to put it all on the line. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I thought was, you know, when it comes down to our own people, you know what I'm saying? Where's the brother that's going to put it all on the line to, you know, to stop what's happening to our people, stop our people from fighting. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, these our people. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're more willing to put it all on the line for the oppressor. The brainwashing is so deep. Is just, you know what I'm saying? They ready to put it all on the line for a oppressor, someone that would literally kill you, enslave you, put you in jail. You know what I'm saying? We got to just get out of the conditioning that our minds is in, man. And, you know, that's just what I wanted to bring out.
Con, yeah. Every point you was making is real heavy. Everything you're saying is right on. And that makes me even think myself as far as, like you said, them putting their life on the line to protect an oppressor. For one, we have forgiveness for the oppressor. Anybody ever notice that? How quick we are? It doesn't matter what they do. Oppressor put his knee on his brother's neck and suffocate him. We can forgive him. They can shoot an ISUPK brother in Hayward, California, right in front of his house, in his neighborhood. He's lived there for years and years and years. He's not attacking them. They tase him and then they shoot him 3 times. An older man as well, 61 years old. But we have forgiveness for that. But any of us, we have a problem with each other. They say the gang warfare between the Norteños and Sureños, everybody knows what it started from. I don't know if anybody else has heard it around California. Maybe Itazan knows. I know what it is. Do y'all brothers know what the beef, how it started between the Norteños and Sureños? What this war had really started off? Go ahead.
It was over
What?
a boom.
$1 million?
A boom.
Somebody got their throat slit.
It was over a boom.
Oh, you mean you're talking about the oppressors decimated 99 million Native Americans?
A goddamn boom.
A boot, man. Our brothers and sisters getting lynched by the oppressor. Is that what they started a war for?
They started it over a boot.
A boot, man. Over some shoes. A southern Israelite brother took the shoes from a northerner brother, trying to bully them because they looked at them as the country Mexicans. They looked at them as the ones that worked on the fields and the farmers. They were darker because they stayed in the sun. These brothers from LA, they'd been having their gangs come together, the Mexican mafia, so they felt like they could bully their rural relatives. And this started a war that lasted from the 60s until now. Thousands of brothers have lost their lives, have been murdered because of this boot. Thousands of brothers have gone to prison because of this boot. People, I'm sure, women have been raped over this boot. I mean, just stabbings, lootings, whatever you want to say. Drug deals gone bad. Everything that you can think of, drive-bys, gang fights, riots at school. I mean, the Tazabah tell me brothers getting beat with bats. You know what I'm saying? Lumped up in Hayward over a boot. All right? But when it comes to the oppressor, he does all these things and more. Not only does he steal your boots, he steals your communities. He locks up our Mexican brothers at the border, gives them forward for covers, rapes our women. And we can be quick to forgive them, jump in front of their issues, protect them, put our life on the line for them. But when it comes to each other, we have a zero tolerance. And the real reason why Tazabah brought it out earlier as well when we were talking on the phone is because they're scared. You're scared of the oppressor. You're not going to go do this to the police officer. And we're not advocating picking up arms and going against the police. But what we are saying is, why would you want to go and kill your brother and not go and get vengeance for your people against these devils? It's really because you're fearful of them. You know something's going to happen to you, and they're going to pull down that hammer on your whole people, and you feel like you can get away with shooting at a Judite, or a Judite can get away with shooting at a Mexican, but they're not going to step to the police. All right, so lock it. Now, I'm going to go into this next scripture, Deuteronomy 28:37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee. So this is going out to our people, black and Hispanics, and the Native Indians, and the West Indians. We're all under these names that are bywords and proverbs. These are not our true identity. A Jamaican will live and die by that Jamaican flag. Puerto Rican, you know the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Good night. Growing up here on the West Coast, that was a brother's dream in the world, was to get to that damn Puerto Rican Day Parade. So many beautiful sisters out there. But they love that flag, man. They will die behind that Puerto Rican flag. The same with our Mexican brothers. What's their day? Cinco de Mayo. The flag is coming out. They love to represent the flag of their nation, but they don't realize we have one flag. We have the flag that should represent for all the 12 tribes. We're not going to be free. We're not going to have any justice until we come under that one banner and unite as all the 12 tribes. And because this shows you that this is part of the curses. That every other nation, they weren't given their name or their identity or their culture from the oppressor. Yes, we know in Africa they may have went in and colonized and created the nations of Ghana and created the nations of what else they have over there, South Africa, and put these borders in place. But you go to those people and ask them what their tribe is, where they're from, they know their identity. They know who they are. The Chinese know. The Arabs know. The Samoans know. The Hawaiians know. The only people that really don't know where they come from are these 12 tribes of Israel. So that's why it says we'll be known as a proverb and a byword. Right? Next scripture I want to go to is to show that these northern kingdoms, if brothers don't know, after King Solomon, the nation of Israel was one under Solomon and King David. They were united. Not too long after that, certain sons of Solomon, he had so many sons, started to claim that they should be in charge of the kingdom of Israel. And other sons said they should be in charge, and it started a civil war. They split into the northern 10 tribes, which we would say are the children of Israel that live in North, Central, and South America of Native Indian descent. Guatemalans are so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Cubans, so-called Argentinians, Chileans, Brazilians. All of these tribes over here, the Gadites, the Reubenites in North America. These are the 10 northern tribes. They split up from the southern tribes, which would be the tribe of Judah, so-called Black Americans or Negroes, the tribe of Benjamin, Jamaicans, all the West Indian tribes from Guyana to St. Croix, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, all of those West Indian cultures and tribes, that's the Benjamites. And then you have the Haitians or the Levites. The Levites were the priestly tribe. They didn't have any land in Israel, so that's why when the split happened, they stayed amongst the Jews or the Judites, and they became known as Judah because they lived amongst the Judite brothers, and as well as the Benjamite brothers. Their tribe was small. There was another eternal war that happened. Some Benjamite brothers I believe they raped a sister in Israel, and they did not want to turn over the men that did this. And so we went to war with the Benjamites and basically was about to completely wipe them out. But the Lord said to spare some of those brothers, and they were able to get some women, and they were able to grow back, but they were still always a smaller tribe because of that war that happened. All right. And so they dwelt amongst the Judites as well in the land of Judah. And so after that split, the northern kingdom, they kept going and worshiping other idols first. They were the first. Their leaders were the first to really take them away from the Lord and not follow in the way of King David. So they went into captivity first, which will be the Assyrian captivity. And this is documented in the book of Second Ezra and the Apocrypha. After they were in this captivity, they chose to come together to go to another land that no one dwelt. And that's what we call today as North America. This is how our brothers got separated from us and came to this land. And we believe that we are not the same people. But they were never able to escape the curses of the Most High. They brought a lot of the culture with them. They continue the traditions that are in this Bible. All right. So 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea, the king, whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive and carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So they're already far away from their homeland, Israel. This is history. And they decided to go even further away from their homeland. All right? And this is a place where no man dwelt. That's why they say this was the new world when the oppressor came over here, because they were separated from the old world, which would be Europe today, Africa, the Middle East, Asia. All of these nations had been having commerce. They were trading with each other from the Orient, from China, all the way over to Europe and back and forth. They had maps about these lands. They knew about people all over, but the new world was something that wasn't discovered. Now we know there were people that were making trips and knew about it, but especially for the Europeans, this world was something that was new, and that's why we say our brothers were the first ones, these 10 tribes, to go to this new land. And they had been there for thousands of years before the so-called white man found it. All right. Verse 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. So it was like a new start. It was something that they wanted to do. And okay, we said we're going to start over. We just got out of captivity. Let's go over here. Let's do things right so we can stay out of trouble. But you know, as time went on, just like our people, they take one step forward, 2 steps forward, they take 10 steps back. All right. So let's see. Then we drop down to verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Asarah. All right. And so even watching the Alawan Kazakia, he knows a lot about the ISUPK history. He's saying that birria, which is a well-known dish in ISUPK culture, is in the Bible. It's in Deuteronomy. It tells you how to sacrifice a goat, cook it up a certain way. And he was telling it to another Mexican brother. He said he started to get chills because, you know, he believes in the Bible, but he has never been shown these things. So there's so many things that have been brought over here that come from Israel, the fringes, 8-day circumcision, believing in one higher power. The writing of Lashawan Kodesh could be found in caves all over North America. They say there are pyramids built over here in Mexico, in Central and South America, that are similar to the ones that are in Egypt. Why? Because we're the same people building these same structures. All right. So next, I'm going to go to Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 9. For the people that think that because the Issacharite brothers are lighter skinned, or they may have straighter hair, that we're not the same family. Jeremiah 12 and 9 says this: Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. What is a speckled bird? A speckled bird has multiple colors, from light brown to dark brown. And that's what Israel is. And anyone that has family, especially here in California, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a relative that is married to an Issacharite, woman or man. And you see how their children come out. And you may have other family members, especially people from the South, that are Creole and Cajun. You can find an Issacharite that looks exactly like a Creole or Cajun person. There was a man in Louisiana when I lived there. His name was Rick Gallo. He was a senator. He has a famous family, the Gallo family. And now I think he's the president of Grambling State University. You can look him up. It's Gallo, Gallot. And in Louisiana, he considers himself a Creole, or that's where his roots come from. That's why Gallo is a French name. But he identifies as Black American. His wife is a chocolate sister. They go to the Black church. They go to the Black HBCU. Everything about them is Judite culture. But if you look at him, he looks like a Mexican. All right? So we don't understand that there is not, our people, like I said, are a speckled bird. We have all different shades and colors amongst the children of Israel. And another example I always say is, if you want to go just off of looks to identify your family, you're a goddamn fool and you have a slave mentality. Because I have family from Louisiana that are Creole, and my grandmother, people would not think that she's a Judite. She's very fair skinned. Her natural hair color was red. She has green eyes that change to blue and to gray. All right. And my cousins in Texas, one of the sons, one of my cousins, he married an Edomite woman. And when I'm going to my family reunions or going to the holidays when I was in the world, Thanksgiving, and meeting my cousins, their kids, if you see them, they look like any other Edomite kid. You would think that they were from a Gap commercial, from the Brady Bunch. They could go sit in amongst the Brady Bunch and blend right in. Freckles on their face, everything. And then you can see me next to a brother that I never met from school or even a goddamn Hamite and say, oh, you guys look like cousins. But am I more closely related to some dark-skinned brother that I just met at school? Or am I more closely related to somebody that came out of my great-grandfather because he looks white? Are we not the same family? We are the same. We're closer related. And especially to a Hamite, we're not family at all. Just because I may have the same skin color or similar hair to this Hamite doesn't mean That's my goddamn family. I should bring him over to my household when I know my cousin's aunt, his uncles, his granny, his grand. We came from the same loins. Are we not family because he's lighter skinned and has straight hair? No, that's nonsense. So that's not how genetics work. All right. So when people start bringing that BS that our Issachar brothers are not our family because of the way they look, one, they don't know how genetics work. Two, they'll accept anybody. Why don't they accept the East Indians? They're dark skinned. A lot of them are darker than us. Does that automatically make them African? Does that make us a part of the same tribe? The whole world is dark skinned. All right. When you really think about it, the only ones that are white are the so-called white men. This is why people that are so pro-blackity black, they want to say everyone is African. No, everyone came from Noah. Everyone came from Adam. We all had the same forefathers. And so even when you break it down to Abraham, Abraham is the father of Isaac and Jacob. But guess what? He also had another son. His son was named Ishmael. So yeah, we're going to have some similarities in look the further back you go. Those are our cousins. Arabs are our cousins. Edomites are our cousins. You understand me? Asians are our cousins. They come from Lot. Lot was Abraham's nephew. Yeah, they're our cousins. They got dark-skinned Asians. They have Asians with curly hair. But the Lord's chosen people, that last separation was the 12 tribes of Israel. And that is Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And that's the most important family to the Lord. All right. Anybody got any comments?
So, Rocky, if I may,
Go ahead.
you need a reader?
Khan.
Officer number one.
Most High Christ. The water, if you can.
Khan.
Well, yeah, that's something we gotta remind ourselves, especially when you see things like Israelite brothers shooting at black people, Judites or whatever. We know we're all black. So black is all the 12 tribes, but so-called black Americans, when they doing that, you know, some people will get offended. And when Israelite brothers see us attacking the Elote lady or robbing her and taking money from her, I know they get offended. But you got to remember, there's a difference between internal beefs and struggle and the outside oppressors that have been going to war with us and trying to destroy both of us. And understand that just like East Oakland and West Oakland been beefing forever, North Richmond and South Richmond been beefing forever, East Detroit, West Detroit, South side of Chicago, West side of Chicago, GDs, Vice Lords, Crips Bloods, all of these things, we know we go to war with each other, but we still know we're one people. So don't let that confuse us because they're from a different tribe. All right? So with that, I want you to bring out Psalms chapter 83, verse 1.
Khan. Psalms 83 and 1, you said?
Khan.
Psalms chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. Verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
All right, hold it right there. What does it mean when it says, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head? Who is this thee, and who is thine enemies? Who are they talking about? Anybody in the class, feel free.
Locky.
Go ahead, I'm one. I heard him say Salaki first.
Thy enemy is the other nations.
Right. Okay, that's right.
And our enemy, and the tumult is them getting together to consult on on the children of Israel. So when they make a tumult, they're getting together to, what you want to say, like plot against us, and and cause the downfall of our nation.
Right. But okay, I'm more specific. Like when they say mine, that's mine enemies. Thine is your enemies or their enemies. Who is this thine though right here? For it says, for lo, thine enemies. Who is thine? Who is that?
The Most High enemies.
Right. Okay. Most High in Christ. Try to set you up for the trick question. Yeah. It's not talking about the enemies of Israel. So yeah, Most High in Christ for that brother got. Yeah. He's saying these are the enemies of the Lord. The enemies of the Most High. The Most High has enemies. These nations hate the Lord. They love Satan. They want to follow Satan. They want to worship Satan. Thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They hate the Most High. Why do they hate the Most High? Because he chose black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. All right? Now let's go on to verse 3.
Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Verse 4.
Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Just think about that right there. Think about all the history classes that was taught to you. Even the so-called Amalekite, they are Amalekites, Salakia, the so-called Jewish men in Israel. The story behind them, they say that they're Judah. That's why they're called Jewish, all right? Even them saying that they're Israel, live in Israel, how is it that they never teach about the 10 tribes? Does anybody ever think about that in history? Even if they teach you there's a nation of Israel and these are the so-called Jews, Jewish people, why don't they ever talk about the whole other 10 tribes? Where the hell did they go in history? Where are they? They don't want to teach you. They want the name of Israel to be no more in remembrance. They don't want you to think about Naphtali or Manasseh or the tribe of Simeon, Levi. They don't want you to think about these different tribes. So the name of Israel is no more in remembrance. And when it comes to our people, we have a whole nation of black people running around America that have white names. Jackson, Johnson, Jordan, Smith, Jones, Williams. All of these names have nothing to do with our people. You don't even look like that. Like if you saw an Asian come and you meet him and he tells you, my last name is Polanski. You be looking like, what type of games is you playing? My name is Chow Da Vinci. All right, whatever, man. You must be on some spies. I don't know what the hell's up your sleeve, man. You lying. We know your last name is Lee. We know your last name is Shu, Chu, Me, whatever. That ain't it, man. So knock it off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've heard of Asians coming down, and at my job I work with, their last name was Wayne or Dwayne or something like that.
Dwayne?
That ain't nothing but Dwayne or something like that. Right? They just trying to make their name sound white so they can blend in, but really they are legal in this country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how you know that's not our name.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It don't even fit. You know what I'm saying? The same way if you seen a black man with an Asian name or a Samoan name, Tapala Tupu Fufu. Like, come on, nigga, you from Harlem. Knock it off. You know what I'm saying? You from Compton. Yeah, it's not your name, Ock. You know what I'm saying? Even now, especially, the brothers that go to the pen, what do they try to come out as? Ooh, Mustafa, Mufa, you know what I mean? They try to get these Muhammad Sharif and you know what I mean? All of
Right.
these Arabic names. You know what I mean? They want to get these Arabic names and it doesn't even fit. It doesn't represent your culture. You can't go over there. You don't know nothing about no camels. You know nothing about the food they eat. You know, you can't get their women. Arabs is not giving up their women to you. They're not helping you get a store. So why you think taking on their name is going to make you the same as them? So that's the reason why our names were stripped from us, because your name goes with your identity. If your son was taken away from you and you never knew your son at birth, if he took your name with him, he would say, "Oh, I'm the son of Kasar Fakad." That's why we say, "Ban Yahawada, Ban Yasharala, son of Judah, son of Israel." Your name should be really a long list. If you have a name of a bunch of men in the truth, your name would be Ban Kasar Fakad. I named my son uh I named my son Danyala or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I named him another, he would be Ban Danyala, Ban Kasar Fakad, Ban Yahawada, Ban Yasharala. It doesn't stop. And the same thing, Tazabah. If your sons, they were taken away to New York and never met you, but all they could know on their paper was, I'm Ban Tazabah. They could come and ask eventually and find out who they were, who their father was. The men would tell them that Tazabah was a righteous man. They tell them that Amawan was a righteous man. Oh, you Ban Amawan? Oh man, your father was like this. He used to love skating, man, and he'd get on that bike, go 50 miles. He'd be like, damn, I like riding bikes too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because you get it from your father, man. You are Ban Amawan. You are the son of Amawan. You know what I mean? And so when they took our name from us, we didn't know we were Ban Yasharala. We didn't know we were Ban Judah. You just think you are property of a man named Jackson, a goddamn rapist. And that's where your history goes. And so that's right here. That's the one thing they wanted to do is say, let us cut them off from being a nation that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Verse 5. And I want you to read this last verse, verse 5 right here. Salaki.
Oh, okay. Psalms 83, verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Right. So the other nations have come together as confederate. They're moving as one. They're united against you. Why will we not unite against them? For one, they are the enemies of the Most High. If you want the Most High to protect you and be on your side, you have to do what He says. And He says we have to come together because they have come together. They have consulted together. They are confederate. Their hatred for you is so deep, they're willing to put their differences aside. And that's another myth that we believe when they tell us that black people are violent criminals, that Hispanic people are a bunch of violent people. When nobody in human history, go ahead.
Yeah, so, why do you think that, on that point, what I'm saying, why do you think that it's a bunch of Asian stores in our neighborhood? Why do you think the Arabs own all the liquor stores and stuff? Because, the Confederates would rather have them own stores in our own neighborhoods than we have stores in our own neighborhoods. And that's what it means, that they're Confederate against you. You know what I'm saying? It's not about us building our own and thriving on our own. It's just, it's about us not being a nation again. And that's all I want to bring up.
Yeah, right on, Most High Christ. Yeah, man, it's definitely an orchestrated thing. The slavery didn't just happen with one nation. We always blame the Edomites, but you forget the Hamites had a hand in our oppression. And it's the same thing. They come here to America. They get warned. They get told, that you're gonna have to stay on top of these people, and just strategically and militarily allowing the Africans to have their own land, allowing the Arabs to have their own land, the Chinese have their own land and their own history. They're not upset with America like the Native Indians, like the Hispanic brothers, like the so-called Black American Negro, because they didn't do to them what they've done to us. They rather you come over here and build you up and get your family, get everything together, because one, you're not on your homeland, you don't have all your people here with you, so you don't want to see America fall. You're just here to make money. When they know if they empower Black and Hispanic people, then we're gonna take this thing back. So they always want to keep their foot on our necks and keep us at the bottom. All right. And let's see.
Slovakia, if I may.
Go ahead.
And what y'all saying is so heavy. And another point is, when we get into these, you were saying all these different names and stuff like that, that confuses the child as well. You know what I'm saying? Because then that make a child want to make a choice of, are you going to be, the last name of this family, this generation, or are you going to be, you have to pick and choose, whose side you're going to be on. You know what I'm saying? That throws confusion to the child too as well. So that right there too is that crafty counsel, coming over here and mixing with these races, and then it's like, okay, when the child is born, they gotta make a decision. Are you going to be a so-called Jackson, or are you going to be a so-called Tofu? And
Right.
you're going to be named after who you going to make this choice? Are you going to come with me, or you going to come with your mother, or you going to come with your father? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's that crafty too.
No, that's heavy. That's heavy because also too, even in the world, I used to always beef with people that try to do that dash, that they say, oh, when we get married, I'm not going to take my husband's full name. I'm going to become a dash. I'm going to keep my last name. And I'm like, that's
Right.
just nonsense, man. You are the property of your husband. Your father's supposed to give you to him. You are under his household. Why would you pass that name to your children? Because the whole concept is representing your genes. And when you have a last name from your father, you're saying these children are mine, and they are my seed. You're the seed of your father. All right? And so even when women do that, I start talking to these heathens and telling them, you know what I mean, driving Uber and breaking it down to them. They're like, damn, I never thought of that. I wanted to do the dash. But I'm like, even when a woman is given that so-called name to their children, that's not even a woman's name. That's her father's name as well. So if women wanted to really pass on a name, they should start creating a new name. Because how can you get your name from your father? His last name was Jones, and now you married your husband, his name is Wilson, and you're telling your kids that you are a Wilson Jones, but you're not the seed of your father. You understand me? That didn't come from your mother. And if you took your mother's name, guess where she got it from? Her father. It don't matter. Women don't even have a goddamn name on earth. So how are you going to give a dash to your child? And so like I'm the one said, that's a lot of confusion. They try to raise you up like, oh, just because that nigga ain't never gave you no money, you don't know him, he been in prison, we're going to give you our name. But you're not the son of her father. You know what I'm saying? That's not your line. Your line comes from your father. All right? And so, and that also comes from slavery too, the crafty counsel, because before, when they first came, they had indentured servitude. Indentured servitude says, I can work for 7 years, whether I'm black or not, and after 7 years, I get free. An Irishman come, work for 7 years. After that, they can get free and own land and property. But they changed that for our people and said, now, whatever your mother is, you will be. If your mother is a slave, you will be a slave. If your father is free, your mother is a slave, you're still a slave. So that's how the white man, even though those children technically are his, he allowed them to go into slavery because he changed it like your bloodline traces through your mom, which we know is not true.
Right.
All right. So they love to do that, and I just, you know what I mean. That's one of my pet peeves. You know what I mean. It really grinds my gears to see sisters in the world. It's not already you want to be out of order. Already you don't want to listen to your man, but you want to bring your father's name and name my kids after your father. Like, good night, man. If you don't knock it off with that nonsense, you know what I'm saying? Like, hit. So, Lagi, I'm bring the last point. We're gonna go on to the next scripture, but to be frank, man, his nuts didn't come from him, man. You passed your nuts to your son, man. Salaki. I don't know what other way to say it. Your Y chromosome, what makes you a man, go from father to son. How can another man make your son? Where are men coming from? Men come from men. A woman can't make a man. A man passes his X chromosome to the woman. He makes that daughter. But ain't no woman made a man. All right? I don't know if brothers heard that breakdown that I give before, but I always compare it to LeBron James. My partner's from Akron, Ohio. He went to school with him, played basketball against him. LeBron James' mother was on drugs growing up. Everyone knows it. He never knew his father. LeBron James' father could walk in a room. He wouldn't know him from me, from Anwar, from Tazabah, from General Yohana. He doesn't know who his father is at all. But what made him who he is? His mother didn't have the genetic power to make him 6'8". His mother didn't have the genetic power to make him be able to bench press 250 pounds, 300 pounds, to jump that high. Where his testosterone comes from is from his father. What makes him a man comes from his father. That $1 million mansion that he was able to buy his mama wouldn't have been if he became a woman and came out as LeBrona. LeBrona James wouldn't have done that. You understand me? You feel me? So these women have lost their goddamn mind talking about, oh, we're going to give you my name. The name represents your nuts, man. That's what it represents. What made you a goddamn man. And she could never take that away from him, even if he never bought him $1, didn't buy him a Snickers bar, did, you know what I'm saying? No matter what he did, the biggest gift he gave LeBron James was his goddamn, you know what I'm saying? His manhood. All right? And so that's the same thing as children of Israel. That they're trying to convince us that just because this white man sleeps with this black woman, that is our people. But his stuff comes from a devil, man. And he can't put his manhood into a black woman and get out a black man. You can't become a child of Israel. We're sons of Israel. We have to be a son of him. You can't be from the daughter of him. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
That white man put his rod in that sister. Guess what comes out? It's not about color. A white man came out. I bet you that boy ain't gonna be able to jump like LeBron James. I bet you ain't gonna be able to run as fast as Usain Bolt. Bet you ain't gonna have as much flavor as a real Israelite brother. And they always side with the oppressor because they have that same spirit of a goddamn devil. All right?
Right.
So Laki, I digress, man. If anybody want to piggyback on that, go ahead. But
Laki, if I may.
Go ahead.
You may get one out of those millions of the Edomites, but only because our sisters had to let them suck on their breast. You know what I'm saying? They getting this strong milk. You know what I'm saying? And they, you know what I'm saying, that strong, so to speak, milk from them. You know, that like I say, going into their blood, so that might give them a little extra lift. I have two that give them a little extra lift. You know what I'm saying? Because they come back from the sucking on we were in slavery. They
Right.
had to let the Edomite child suck on our sister's breast. You know what I'm saying? So they getting that that real nourishment that the Most High gave us. You know what I'm saying? So you might get that one out of there that might have a little bitty hops, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Going back to, you know what I'm saying? And going back to that history where, we giving all of our strong milk, our strong genes and stuff like that. So I just want to bring that out too as well.
Right. And also, you know how certain heathens come and do what we do. Just like Africans may come and make some music like we do, or Eminem can rap like we do. They can do what we do in a sense, but they never started. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Eminem don't start hip hop. He just learned how to do what we do. They don't start low riding culture. They just copy it. I seen some devils. They didn't have hops in the 80s. They've been practicing though. But you see how they do it? They sit in the gym doing all types of jump workouts. They eating extra protein, taking shots, doing everything they can to jump like us. When you meet a nigga from the hood that just off a Big Mac and jump over a fence, you know what I'm saying? It's just natural.
Right, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so what you were talking about was heavy. And you know what reminded me? I don't know if anybody's seen this movie called The Program. The Program, where they had this one dude, one white boy, big swole-eyed white boy named Latimer. And he went to a party and flipped out on this little broad that he was trying to mess with. And, you know what I'm saying? She heard all across the room and shit. And they had to restrain him. You know what I'm saying? So he got in trouble for it, whatever, right? And they found out that he was on steroids.
Yeah.
And he was just like, the brother on the team was like, man, what did you do this shit for, man? He said, not everybody has your ability.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? That's what he said to the brother, man.
Right.
Not everybody has your ability. So, they're doing certain things, you know what I'm saying? They know they don't have the talent that we do. You know what I'm saying? But that's a good movie. Check that out. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the big poor white boy said, man. Not everybody has your ability.
Right.
That's why they have to take things that, you know what I'm saying, keep up with it. And that's why they have to poison it.
Right.
That's why our food is you know what I mean? Because they know they can't keep up with it. And it's fat.
Right. That's real, man. Most High Christ. Everybody knows about brothers that be hitting the weights, man. Them devils, they love shooting up with steroids to keep up with brothers and still be weaker than brothers. You know what I'm saying? And we all know about niggas that halfway train. Like they not even dedicated to it like them devils. Them devils got a whole list on there. 6 o'clock, I gotta eat this. 5 o'clock, I gotta do that. 3 o'clock, I gotta go hit this many. They keep a record of every damn bench press, every damn, you know what I'm saying, weight, kilograms, and salaki, you know what I'm saying? And brother come in there and just fresh off a party, nigga done been up all night, fit the Hennessy, high off of some weed, and go do the same goddamn thing this devil done work just to get to that same point, you know what I'm saying? Because we are a special people. The Lord put something in us that he didn't put in these other nations, man. And so we got to know that and cherish that and make it right by the Lord for giving us these blessings and coming into rulership. So the most important thing is getting our mind right, and that's why it's being destroyed. So I hate to see things like this where black and brown are coming against each other, man. That hurts to see. And, you know, like we say, for them brothers in the world that's living like that, they got to unite or die. Because if they don't kill each other off, if the oppressor don't kill them off, when Yahweh Shai Mashiach return, they're going to get put to death too. Because this is the nation of Israel. And there will be unity or it's going to be nothing. All right. Salaki, next script I'm going to bring out is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. We're going to show you in this Bible, though, man, that black and brown are together. And these are some of the signs that let us know we're the same. That's Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Baba Kashah.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
They refused to let them go. All right. The children of Israel and Judah were oppressed together. We know all of us are the children of Israel. But when it says it like that, Israel represents the northern kingdom. They became known as Israel, and the southern kingdom became known as Judah. So it's showing you that these two kingdoms were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. So Puerto Rico, the Spaniards, they got them. They owned them. They took them captives. Here in America, the English, the Anglo-Saxons took us captive. They teach us English. They don't want to let us go. They want us to do their holidays. They want us to celebrate Christmas or whatever. And the Iscari brothers, they got to celebrate El Dios de los Muertos. You know what I'm saying? The Day of the Dead. And everyone has to follow the cultures of the people that oppress them and dress the way they dress and talk the way they talk and do the things that they did. And they don't want to let us go. And that's another thing that we need to learn from, to decipher from these devils, man, that they say lies. They speak with a forked-toothed tongue. They always tell Mexicans, go back to Mexico. They used to tell us to go back to Africa. Do they really mean that?
Right.
Do they really want us to go back to these other lands? No. Why? Why do we know this? Because the goddamn white man is going to Mars right now. The goddamn white man is landing on I'm gonna say some. He's landing on the moon, man. You think they can put all their resources to get to Mars, but they can't get you to Mexico or get you to Africa if they wanted to? If they put their mind to it, they're going to do it. That's how they operate. They don't want us to leave here. They telling you that to make you want to stay. It's reverse psychology. Right. It's like I say, man, it's like a pimp with a hoe or a man that's in an abusive relationship. The door is open. You can get on out of here. Go ahead. I don't need you. I don't want you. How you think Ike Turner used to talk to Tina Turner? We can get another one just like you. You ain't nothing. Get on out of here. You start to believe you ain't nothing. You ain't going to survive. We go and get free, separate from these devils, we ain't going to have nothing. This is going to be a third world country. They push you away really to pull you in because they don't want to let you go because their whole economy will fall. They depend on us. You think some white people want to come and work at Taco Bell? They want to be a janitor? They want to clean toilets? Be trashmen? All the jobs they don't want to do, they have our people doing. Picking fruit. They don't want to do that, man. So they hold on fast, like the scripture says. We oppress together. And that's how we know who we are, like I said, because we suffer the same curses, and the same people that destroyed us destroyed our Latin brothers, destroyed our Native Indian brothers. And it's not the same as what they did to Africans and what they did to Chinese and what they did to the Russians, Arabs. They didn't do them like they done us, man. So that's how we know we together. All right, let's go to the next one.
Talaki, if I may.
No sweat. Go ahead, please.
Even that reverse psychology telling us to go back to Africa, knowing that, you know what I'm saying, we didn't come from Africa. Why didn't they tell us to go back to Jerusalem? You know what I'm saying? They still with their crafty counsel. So even if we was to go back to Africa, that still wasn't the place. That was just the place we resided in from being kicked out of 70 AD, being kicked out of Jerusalem when the Romans was conquering. So, you know, thus us going to Africa. You know, but the Most High was telling us, you know what I'm saying, when you with the mountains, when they say that when they come from the north or whatever, you know what I'm saying, flee. flee to the mountains, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. We freed out of Jerusalem and went into Africa and resided in Africa. But the point that you were just making, you know what I'm saying, go back to Africa, you know what I'm saying? That's not our hometown, but they want us to make us think that's our hometown because, they done conquered Africa, you know what I'm saying? So you going back there and you putting all, telling us, you putting all your money, spending all your money and residing back to Africa, which makes Africa rich, but they, you know what I'm saying, they didn't put their crafty council in Africa and, and got all the resources, getting all the resources out of there, you know what I'm saying, but it's all a psychology thing, you know what I'm saying, just what you're saying, that reverse psychology. Even though we're not from Africa originally, we just resided there. So they still not even telling us, our true heritage, which is Jerusalem. If that's the case, go back to Jerusalem to see. They want to keep our minds, in this lost state, and tell us go back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? So that, I just want to bring that out too as well.
No, that's heavy. Huh? Somebody else say Salaki? Okay. Yeah, that's heavy. I like to use analogies. When you said it like that, that's like you kidnapping a baby when they born, dropping them off at a foster home or adoption agency. Then you come back later and you adopt that baby out of foster care or something, and then when they acting up, you say, go back to the foster care. When really their real family that'll love and take care of them is on the other side of town. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna tell them to go back to their real family because they think they don't have a family. They think their family gave them up, but you really took them from their family. You know what I'm saying? Well, go back to the foster home. You know what I'm saying? Let them treat you better. Because you know how the foster home is. You're gonna get molested there, and they don't feed you. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of other kids you don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's Africa. There's all these other tribes. They don't accept us. They hate us. They gonna try to kill us. You know what I'm saying? What do you want me to go back to the foster home? So you're gonna stay here with your adopted parents, even though they're abusive. You know what I mean? Not knowing you got a loving family up the street that's been looking for you. You know what I'm saying? And got a bed for you, got everything. That's coming home to Israel. That's coming home to our own culture.
Right.
All right, but yeah, that's heavy. I like that you brought that out, man. I'm gonna remember that and bring that out. That's gonna stick with me. Most High in Christ. All right, we're gonna run through these next few scriptures. We're gonna close out class. Can I get a time check real quick, Baba Kasha?
Let's see, 8:35.
Okay, yeah, Most High in Christ. Yeah, I'm gonna go through a couple more. This sunlight kind of throwing me off. All right, we're going to run through these real quickly just to bring them out. Brothers can get them in their precept book if they don't have them. You go to Isaiah 11 and 13.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
Right. So just like Judah, the southern tribes, that was the head tribe of the southern tribes, even though that means Benjamin and Levi. When you see Ephraim here, Ephraim was the head tribe, or today the so-called Puerto Ricans was the head tribe of the northern kingdom. So that's still talking about all the northern kingdom. Sometimes you'll see Israel, sometimes you'll see Ephraim. So Ephraim is not gonna beef with. This is a future prophecy. They're gonna become together, all right, and they won't have issues anymore. So we see that in the UPK. We're fulfilling this prophecy right now in the ISUPK and the Commanding Junior High. Brothers that have been beefing on the streets, having petty battles, and anybody seen the movie Juice? Tupac, he was getting into it with what's the dude's name? Ronamez. It was the Puerto Rican gangs. They was beefing with them. You know what I'm saying? They was running from them. That's because in New York, Puerto Ricans and Judites go at it back and forth. Latin Kings versus Bloods and all that. But when the ISUPK came out you're finally seeing us to dwell together in one house and squash those issues and live like family and have better bonds sometimes with brothers in the world. Well, definitely brothers. We know the UPK's brotherhood is on compared to nothing else. But you thinking just because I'm gonna say it like this, I may have a Judite partner in the world, but my Issacharite brother in the truth, I definitely ride with him over a Judite in the world, and vice versa. Issacharite brother in the truth will ride with a Judite over an Issacharite in the world, man, because this is true family. All right, that's real unity, and we fulfilling this prophecy right here. Next scripture I'm gonna bring out, last one tonight, is 1 Kings chapter 4, verse 20.
Okay.
1 Kings chapter 4 and verse 20. Baba Kasha.
First Kings chapter 4, verse 20. Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in the multitude, eating and drinking and making merry.
Right. What does this sound like to us, brothers on the phone? What does this sound like? Eating and drinking and making merry. What does that remind you of in the ISUPK?
That's the Passover.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Give it up for the UPK. Give it up for the Lord's Passover, man. And Lord allow when things clear up, if this place doesn't get destroyed first, which I'll take either one. If this place completely falls, Most High in Christ, if it doesn't right now, Christ doesn't return, we have another Passover, Most High in Christ to that too. We get to see Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians drinking and making merry together, partying together, eating and drinking together, man. And that's something that the Lord wants to see. So once again, Judah and Israel were many, as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. So these petty beasts need to be stopped in our communities. We need to keep pushing this agenda of Black and brown uniting. I've seen a lot of it come out lately, but the only way we're going to really see this unity is in the ISUPK, under these laws, statutes, and commandments. All right?
Right.
So with that, unless anybody else has anything to say, I'm going to close out this class.
Lucky, I just got one thing to say. That scripture right there, 1 Kings 4 and 20, that's a straight brotherhood precept right there. You know what I'm saying? Eating and drinking and making merry. You know what I'm saying? That's a straight brotherhood scripture. And you know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why we go out in these streets, you know what I'm saying, to teach our people, you know, how to come back together so we can, you know, go back to eating and drinking and making merry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it's a shame, you know, all of our people, you know, don't know about the Passover, but they know about Christmas and, you know, the 4th of July and all these other pagan holidays. You know, so I understand, you know, Junior Hannah, you know, passing down these law, statutes, and commandments, and we taking them out to the streets, you know, to inform our brothers and sisters that's out there, that's in the world, that we're trying to bring out of this world, you know, and come back to the Most High, law, statutes, and commandments, you know, and coming back to our true heritages, so we can, you know what I'm saying, that's why they don't teach us about ourselves in these schools, you know what I'm saying, they teach us, we from some, this is what you're saying, we from the what you said, the the foster home, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We take you from the foster home and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And letting us not know about our true heritage, our true culture, you know, where we from, Jerusalem, you know, so it's, you know, it's all that crafty counsel, all the scriptures that you brought, that crafty counsel, but that scripture right there, eating and drinking and making merry, is that's a damn good brotherhood scripture right there.
Man, Most High in Christ, and you saying that, I'm gonna have to add that in my precept book. So that's another thing, brothers, coming into the school when you're getting your precept book together. Notice that and remember that some precepts you may have took it down for this class about Black and brown uniting and have that in your precept book for Black and brown unite. But also that is a brotherhood scripture as well. So I got to put that underneath my brotherhood scripture. Sometimes, or a lot of scripts can go under multiple different categories. You know what I mean? And so that, yeah, I'm one
Right.
just made me notice that as well. You're right. That is a hell of a brotherhood class. That's a good script to bring out. You know what I mean? So most on Christ to that. All right. So with that, I'm gonna pass the class over to Precinct Officer Amwan.
Okay. Let me see. Do I have the? I don't think I have the. Out of my phone, because I just got this phone, so a lot of stuff I ain't been able to download.
There's no sweat. You can just do the salute. We'll close it out.
Oh, okay. Kind of. All right, men of Israel. We're gonna get one curse salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amadrim Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh Hashem,
Y'all Shem y'all shot broke a thumb.
All right, we're gonna give one curse salute to the sisters out there. Men of Israel, Amadrim Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh Shemar,
Shem y'all shot.
With that being said, Yazmatah, class dismissed.
Right.